Good afternoon, Luke. Okay, so to clean this off or to actually get this done correctly, the best thing to do is first disconnect the battery underneath. Just unplug the DC connector underneath so we're not going to have anybody get zapped by 12 volts here. After you disconnect the battery, first thing you should do is cut these right here with some wire cutters. You got two sets of wires here. Cut them both, and then you're going to peel these back all the way on both sides. Now what this next step is the most tiring, lengthy, whatever we want to call it, part of this whole thing. Everything's easy except for what I'm about to tell you now. You are going to have residue all the way along where these are, right underneath this molding. That has to come off in order for the new LEDs to sit there. Now, there is a reason why it's good that the residue is there, because we want that to bond well. We use a good heavy bond 3M tape, and it's like a foam tape. The problem is when you need to replace it, it's going to cause this. So how do you get it off? We use a plastic razor blade, which I'll send you a link to, and we usually kind of spray WD-40 on it and keep scraping and scraping and scraping with that, with those little razor blades, plastic razor blades. This is very tedious. If you got some helpers, this is the day you want them, because you're obviously going to be doing your entire 12 pieces that you have. So, so you'll get all this off, get it nice and clean, get the rails nice and clean. Then what we're going to be doing is, because you cut that already, this here will pull straight up. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you one thing. You want to loosen that block right there. You're going to loosen that block or take it off, and then these wires will slip down and be able to come up through the bottom. So once that's done, you'll pull this out and you'll have those broken wires or the snipped wires that you have. The next thing is you want to disconnect the controller that you have, and you're going to take this piece out. It is with a good heavy bond tape, so you might need to get a screwdriver underneath that to pry it up. And you're going to pull the infrared eye out of where the infrared tunnel is on the side here. So now that everything's disconnected, you cut the wires here, you disconnect it here, just take this off. If you have some residue underneath it, you want to clean that off, use that plastic razor blade. Some WD-40, or you can use Goof Off. Try to get that area clean. What you're going to do next is you're going to actually put this in its place. It can be in its place or kind of close to it. The idea is that the infrared on this one is going to go, it's got to make sure it fits close to where this other infrared went, in that little tunnel there. Now we're going to be replacing that. That's part of the kit. But your two new LEDs will be connecting to these new connectors here. So once you get that in place there, then, and we'll have some sticky tape on the bottom of this, you're going to stick this down there, make sure it sticks good, and then you're just going to kind of leave these all sitting there. The next thing after you put this in place is you're going to be putting a new tube in. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take this off. I believe this is a 14 millimeter. So you have a 14 millimeter, you'll take this off. It is lock threaded, so you may have to break this. It's not the red, it's the blue, so it's temporary, but this might give you a little bit of problem. You have a nut back here and a nut here. So you get this out, and then you're going to re-drill the hole out, and you're going to put in the new infrared port. One that you don't have to take the cap off at all, because the infrared passes right through this. If you were to take it off, it's going to look like this, and it'll be sticking out that far. But you leave the cap on there the entire time, and you can just pass the infrared right through it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this off. You're going to drill this hole out. I believe it's 11/16. It's in our instructions. You're going to go and put the You got a nut on the back of this. we have Loctited this one on here. So it's frozen on there. So this is what you're going to be doing, is you're going to be putting this in that new hole. You're going to put this around the back and tighten it up. We do recommend putting some Loctite on here so nothing comes off. Once you have that in place, then your nude controller here, you're going to be pushing the infrared eye in there and let it sit there. So we're almost there. We have your controller in place. We got your infrared port in place. So the next question is, how do we put the LEDs in there? So with the LED, with everything all nice and clean, the block is off here right now. There's going to be a rubber grommet underneath here where the wires go in. You're going to take each LED strip, one goes on each side, and you're going to take them out of the package. I may have to set this phone down. Okay, so you're going to take this out, unroll this, and what you're going to do is you're going to pass, once you get this all rolled out, I would suggest unrolling this all the way up to the length. And then this is going to go, each one of these is going to go through that grommet. Okay, we're going to ignore this block at the moment. The block is off to the side. So you're going to push this through down to the bottom. If you can do it on a table like I'm doing it now, where you got a gap here where you can get underneath here, you'll have your LEDs, both sets laid out. You're going to push both of these wires through the rubber grommet, and then you're going to, actually before you connect it, you're going to put a heat shrink connector. You're going to have to imagine this being underneath, but what you're going to do is you're going to put, once that wire's underneath, you're going to put a heat shrunk connection on there. You're going to connect it to the controller underneath there. If you can do it this way, great. You'll connect them to both sides of the controller. Then you'll slide the heat shrink over it, heat it up a little bit, making sure not to melt anything under here, just so that connection stays more sealed. And you'll do that on both sides of these. And so that's just there to keep some water out of there, as well as keep it from maybe opening up. These lock in place now, so that won't be as common. So once you put those two LEDs through there, we're not going to attach them yet. You're going to line them up, put the two wires down through the hole, slide the heat shrink on both sides, connect them to the controller that's underneath there. Slide the heat shrink over, heat them up, and that's it. Before you heat them up, test them first. Test them, make sure you see them all both working. Now, to put them back in place, what you're going to be doing is, and the good thing is you have a course there. After you rip this off, you can kind of refer to the ones that you have that are still done with the old style ones. And you're just going to kind of nicely, as you rip the backing off here, you're going to keep pushing this along. When you get to these corners here, it's very important that you push them deep into the corner there. You don't want to skip it and have an air gap there. So you keep pushing along. That'll go right along the edge. And then you'll be putting them on kind of standing next to it, and you'll be using both your hands and putting them on right underneath this molding all the way down. Once you get to the very end, you're going to have this little piece here. We like to put a little bit of silicone on the end there, just like you see there. Then you just kind of tidy up everything underneath, slide it all back in place. And that's pretty much it. I know I'm kind of winging this. Probably wasn't the most professional one, but I can make it better if you're having any confusion with it, but it is pretty straightforward. You're getting the residue off is going to be the thing you're going to hate the most. Let me know if you have any questions.